Oh, I'm so excited about today. We're going to talk about lots of goodness. And I know, Heather, you and I talked about this a lot, but preparing to be an empty nester, it is a little scary. But it's also exciting. Sometimes we feel like it's like loss in the end, but it's actually a new beginning, right?
Oh, it's definitely a new beginning. And although we adore we have two still at home. I know you still have one at home and two at home. That's right. And so while we adore our big kids who have left the nest, we it's a little exciting. We still, we're starting to look forward to. I think you have to give yourself a reason, something to look forward to, because I've noticed that women who become empty nesters and haven't really prepared for it, they have a tough time, Steph. They really do. They have a tough time.
Absolutely, because, I was reading this article the other day, and, it was interesting because this lady had said that this was not the end, that
Mhm.
we're actually gaining from it. I'm going to look at this article in a second here, but they were talking about, we have 936 weeks from birth to when our kids either graduate or go to the military or they leave home. Okay.
Okay.
And that sometimes we feel like it's a countdown, almost like it's a huge loss. But she was saying, and I will find the article that I read it in, but she was saying that it was never actually meant to be a countdown, but more of like a storing up, of a building upon, not actually losing but gaining. So what do you think
Yeah.
about that?
I think that there can definitely be a gain. I think there can be a change in the relationship, as they get older, which is really wonderful. I know a lot of the moms that I coach with teens, that's such a challenging time. I mean, there are great days, but then there are also challenging days. And for them, I try to explain, if you don't have these yucky days when they're younger, you're going to have them at some point. You might as well get it over with. Go ahead and get it behind you. That's my thought. How about you?
Yeah, you have to go through the gauntlet of life. I mean, it starts in middle
Yes.
school. In middle school, the kids are like, they care about everything. If you drive by like a friend and you say, I want to roll down the window, is that your friend? And they're like, oh my God, mom, no, just drop me off. Or you act like you're going to blow the horn, they go nuts. And I'm at the point in my life where I just don't really care.
Right.
And sometimes those like, kind of butt heads. And I'm going through hormone changes, they're going through hormone changes. It can be crazy. So yes, if you're never gonna outdo it, it's gonna get you somewhere. Whether it's middle school, high school, young adults, it will get you.
Yes, it will catch up at some point. If they're sweet when they go through middle school and high school, you're going to hit a bump in the road. So I just always say, be glad it's now. Let's get it over with. And before they get to college or out of college, even. I mean, you just hear a lot of situations, Stephanie. There's a lot going on out there, but I am looking forward to empty nesting one day. I really am. My husband and I have started playing pickleball. So I'm trying to be proactive and have some fun with him, which I mean, we've always had fun, but now there's a little more time. You see that in your home. You have a little more time.
Absolutely. When the kids were little and you wanted to go out of town, it was like you've got to write your will, you got to get your insurance policy updated. I mean, and it just felt like so much. You're just like, I'm not even going to go out of town. It's not worth it. But now, as the kids are getting older, you are so right, Heather. It just feels like there's a little more free time. My husband's like, hey, do you want to, go in the Jeep and like explore some trails and go down the canyons? And I'm like, yeah. And the kids, they wake up on the weekends at 1 and they're like, where'd y'all go? And we're like, whoa, we were on a date.
At 8 o'clock this morning. Well, it does change
Exactly.
too. And that's what I had a conversation with a friend on the phone this morning. And I said, we like to go to eat early. If we go out to dinner, we really prefer like 6 o'clock, which sounds so old, but you
That's like
just,
the blue plate special, girl.
it's the blue paint special. But I want to feel good in the mornings like you, to get up and go do fun things, go play pickleball or go explore, go on a hike, whatever it is that you want to do. But I'll tell you, Stephanie, what gets me now. Okay. And I read this the other day, and this really, I can't remember where I saw this, but there is a last for everything. And you touched on this in one of our chats about the night before college drop off. You talked about this. But the last time, and this is what they said, the last time you pick your child up and carry them around. And I thought, oh my goodness, I cannot remember the last time I picked any of our four up and carried them around. Like, at what point did I go, okay, you're too heavy? But it wasn't a conscious decision. But this lady said that she wanted to pick her like 16-year-old up and carry him around just so that the other time wouldn't be the last time, and then she would remember it. So I think that's what really gets me, are the last times that I don't realize are the last time at the
Yeah,
time.
it's
A lot of
totally true.
times.
And I wrote that in my book. I was talking about how, I didn't realize it was the last time I picked up my son, when he was like, I don't know, 10 years old. And then the next thing I know, I didn't realize it was the last time. And then I thought, well, I mean, if I pick him up now, he's going to be like, we'll both remember, but he's going to be like, you were crazy.
I may have to do it when my boys get home from school anyway. I may just have to. Maybe
Just
I,
do a sneak attack.
yeah, maybe I read it in your book. I don't know,
Oh
but
my
I probably
gosh.
did. But I have considered that lately, all the last times. But yeah, there's so many great things to look forward to. I'm excited.
I love that you're
Yes.
playing pickleball. I've been playing tennis for years. I've never played pickleball, and now I think I need to try it.
You will love it. And I will tell you, I put out some reel a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, that said, don't be afraid to be bad at something new. And Stephanie, I am bad at pickleball. And look, Flo, let me think of their names. Flo and Drag, in their 70s, both in their 70s, took us down on the courts last week, took us down. And so be prepared, because these late 60s, 70-year-olds, they are killing people on the pickleball court.
Oh my God. They are slam dunking it. They're like, oh, these little young folks, they don't have a clue what's fixing to happen to them.
Yeah, these little 50-year-olds, what are they thinking? But yeah, I mean, in
Oh,
that, I was really excited to see these couples out there at that age, because they were
yeah.
having so much fun together.
Excuse me. If you think about it, though, in the book, I talk about it. Excuse me. Is before them, there was him.
Yeah.
And oftentimes we are so like into taking care of the kids and hustle, hustle, and throwing them in, carpool and skidding in. I mean, does anybody else skid into carpool a lot? With like the gas is on E and you're like, oh, please God, don't let me
So many days,
run out of
so
gas
many
in
days.
carpool. But yeah, before them, there was him. And sometimes we have to really pull back and go, okay, I've been so focused on these kids for so long. As they started getting older, especially like ninth grade on up, start taking trips, start taking a day trip. Then it moves into a weekend thing. But really, just I think it's so important just to kind of even get to know yourself again, get to know him again, because we have
Yes.
so allowed, right, this whole life to just kind of it's all about the kids, but at some point we're like, wait a minute, I have a life too, and we had a life together before them. So what would you suggest, like, to do to get prepared for that?
Well, the first thing that I suggest, because this really hit me like a brick wall, Stephanie. Someone asked me, I believe it was in an interview, what is your favorite color? And I thought, well, I know all of my children's favorite colors. I know my husband's favorite color, but Stephanie, I could not even think of what my favorite color was. I couldn't, it's like I couldn't remember, and I'd almost just adopted my husband's favorite color. I know that
Oh my
sounds crazy.
goodness.
So I think it's good to sit and take inventory of what do I enjoy? What do I love? Because like you said, we have spent years. I mean, I have been parenting now for 25 years. And so I have
Which is probably
planned
more
and
than you've done of anything ever invested in,
yes.
right?
Yes. And I really put a lot, I put my whole life into parenting. I really did. I'm one of those
Yeah.
people when I do something, I'm all in. I want to know everything about it. And I went all in. I did. And so yeah, I think you just have to kind of take inventory. What do I enjoy? What do I want to do? I mean, you have to set some, I hate to say over and over again, set some goals for yourself, but just find some things that you really enjoy and just do them. I mean, don't wait. Don't say when they graduate, then I'm going to do this. Do them right now, today.
It's so true. You go all in with everything that you do. And I know you're like that as a friend too. You're very just intuitive and you want to help and like, I mean you're all in and I love that as a having a friendship with you. So
Thank
that's
you.
been awesome.
Thank
But
you.
I totally agree with you that we just get so all in and we've got to really pull back and just think, what do I like? I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I would be have that toast, you make like grilled cheese for everybody and there's that one burned one.
Burned
And
one.
and then
Yeah.
you just go, like it's like, well, let me just go ahead and grab that one, And I'm like, I made this stuff. I want the best one sometimes and not always being the one that's sacrificing all the time because at some point you've just got to like stand up for yourself too because
Yes.
I mean the kids, my goodness, if you don't if I can't remember the last time I had a 20 in my billfold. I don't even know what they look like anymore. They just sucking the cash out of you. They just want and need and I thought, what do I want? Like you said, playing
Yeah.
pickleball or what is your favorite color? Have we even thought about like what's our favorite food? What do we want to do?
Right, right. And I mean, I really put myself on the back burner, which I don't suggest that. I mean, I think you should put your children first and your family first, but you don't need to be way on the very back burner of the stove. And I did that. Did you do that?
Absolutely. I had
Yes.
crazy hair and I mean I've had teachers ask me like, "Are you okay?" at
Yeah.
carpool. I've been frazzled. I've shown up in tears places or didn't show up at all. I've been to PTA like the day before. You just miss all the things. Parent teacher conference, you
Yes.
get all dressed up and it was yesterday.
Hey, I can so relate to that more than you can imagine. I can relate to that. But yeah, I think it's time if you are approaching the empty nest age, it's time to make some plans. And we had some friends that came by yesterday from out of town. Maybe it was yeah, the day before yesterday, and they were talking about where they want to retire. And so I have a fifth grader and I really have not considered where do I want to live when I retire? Have you thought about that?
Oh yeah, I'm a 7 on the Enneagram. I'm like, "Woo, I could live in Canada, I could live at the beach." I'm ready to go buy a house in Italy for a buck, and renovate it. I am
Good
all
luck.
over the place.
Good luck. Well, I am too, but I mean, I haven't
Uh,
really pinpointed. They have pinpointed where they want to be. I mean, they
oh,
have a
because I
definite
don't I don't
plan.
like my plans. I never want like it to be like, okay, this is the last house we'll ever buy. Like I just can't deal with that. If it is the last house, great, but I don't want to know that it's the last. I don't like that at all.
You haven't moved enough times. If you feel that way, then you have not moved a lot.
That's
Have
true.
you?
We
Yeah.
well we traveled for 3 years, with my husband and homeschooling and classical conversations and we hit like 9 countries and 45 states like that. But as far as moving, we all my kids grew up in Georgia and then we moved to Arizona to take care of grandpa and that's where we are now. So really just one big move with the family.
Yeah. Yeah. To throw a couple more in and then call me. Once you've packed everything up a few times and watched it load up on the truck and then you've unpacked it and then you can't find half the things that you packed, then Yeah, you may change your tune, Stephanie.
I probably would. I am so sure. It's easy to say like, "Oh, what I would do," when you don't have the experience behind you, you know? It's like,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
so I totally get it. Well, what are some activities or things that we can start now, even like starting small, like if they're in ninth and 10th grade, to just kind of ease the kids into like, mom and dad, we're going places, we're doing things, and you'll just have to catch up with us.
Yeah, I really think, Stephanie, that you need to go ahead and have a friend group. If you don't have a strong community around you of women, you need to find that today. That's another thing you need to start today, because you don't realize how much you need these women until you have them in your life. And I would think that becoming an empty nester and not having a community of women would be especially lonely.
Oh, totally. That's totally true. I was reading in the Grown and Flown. I bought that book. It is so amazing. It's the thickest book I've ever owned. I don't know if I'll ever get through it all, but it's got every kind of scenario for, young adults and preparing for the empty net. It's got every kind of when kids are showing out and that their identity is not their behavior, all the crazy. And so I was reading this by Laura Hudgens, and she was given the 5 ways to prepare now for empty nest. And I mean, they had so many great ideas. I mean, from like gardening, and I'll just tell you now, I am terrible. I do not have a green thumb. I can go to Home Depot and I can pick out a flower and I can hear the flower just scream, "Don't pick me."
You're gonna kill me. I know
You're
you
going to
are.
kill me. And so I am the queen of going to Hobby Lobby and picking the most beautiful silk flowers. And I'm like, it's my superpower to cut the price tags off those things and then stab them in the dirt. And my friends come over and they're like, "Oh my gosh, your flowers at your front door are beautiful." And I'm like, "Thank you." And then I'll see a price tag on the
A fluorescent orange that you forgot to clip.
Oh my gosh. So, we've got to do some hacks sometimes, right? Some life hacks.
We
But
have to. So tell me, what are you doing to prepare? I mean, you're going to be an empty nester before I am. So tell me what you're actively working on.
yeah, so I send the kids to camp. So we just had one go to camp recently in California for 4 days. And it's just kind of a weaning of sorts because we both are at the same time preparing for what's ahead. They're flying the nest. They need to be able to make choices and face consequences, good or bad, in a smaller area where risk is not huge. And so they're going to camps and running camps. And I want to go to camp. Do you ever want to go to
I
camp?
do too. Oh, every year when I drop mine off, I think I want to just stay. I want my own cabin though. I don't want to share a cabin with 20 other people. I want my own cabin, and then I want to have lake time by myself. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. And then I want a zip line and I want fire pit
Yes.
moments. And maybe we should start something. We need to have a retreat because, oh,
I
women, we are
know.
so better together.
We are. I do. I want to sit around my campfire and just visit. That's what I want to do, Stephanie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll do a lot of weekend trips without the kids, and they love it because they know how to cook, and so they're mostly pizzas at this point. And but it's so cute because they're like, "Oh, when you guys were gone this weekend, we did this, and it was so fun," and that just kind of gives them the house to themselves too, and being creative, and they get to kind of hang out as siblings together, and which they don't always have when it's like mom and dad at the house. So it's really a win-win.
Yeah. So who stays with your children when you're away?
Well, I mean, my kids, I have like a 21-year-old and a
Yeah. So
19
you
and a
don't need any.
16 and a yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they
Mm-hmm.
all are, they all take care of each other. The last one is raising herself.
Yeah. That's what I have going on. And I did do that, but now I'm down to 13 and 11 at home. So I really have to make some plans now to
Yeah, I
leave.
can understand that because you don't want
Mhm.
to leave somebody at that age too, and it's not easy to do, and it can be expensive. I mean, sometimes it's just going for a bike ride down the trails, but just to
Yes.
breathe life into yourself, to give yourself breathing room to think about what you love and what inspires you, and what I hear people say, like, what sparks what sparks joy in you. And
Mhm.
that's really what it's all about, is giving yourself margin to just be a better human and like find yourself again.
Yeah, and even just I know we went to the movies the week before last. We went to see Where the Crawdads Sing, and just the two of us, and I really enjoyed that. It can be just little things, sitting out on the porch. We're so lame, Stephanie. We sit out on the front porch and we wait on the owls to hear the owls. That's what we do sometimes for entertainment.
You
Don't we sound
cannot
exciting?
you cannot go wrong sitting on a porch. When I moved to Arizona, everybody calls it a patio, and I was just like, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. So I ordered a swing from like some Amish farm in Ohio. It's the most beautiful, best, strongest swing I've ever had. And I sit on my porch swing, and I can solve all the world's problems. It's amazing.
It is just getting outside though, no joke. You can solve a lot of problems just getting out in the fresh air. It
Yeah,
just
and
it's
even a long walk after dinner, just to take
mhm.
time. I know my kids love to wrestle dad. They love, as soon as he walks through the door, they are wrestling. They go straight from the door to my bed. I don't know how many times I have had to reinforce metal pieces on my bed because they've broken it.
I mean, you have some tall children too,
Yeah, they're
Stephanie.
like 6'5". So yeah, they're very tall. But yeah, so what's the point of all this? Like, what once we do all this, what's going to happen, you think? What are the
I
good
mean, I just feel
symptoms of
like
this?
you're just gonna bond if you haven't bonded in a while because you're so focused on the children, it's a great time to rebond with your spouse. It needs to happen before they leave because you do hear of a lot of divorces after the children leave the nest. Have you heard of quite a few?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty high. It's like, okay, we the swirl and twirl and the crazy of just like the chaos of raising kids and blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden it's just like you two and you don't have anything in common anymore. I mean, if I
Mhm.
don't play golf but my husband does, I can drive the golf cart.
Yes,
I
you
mean,
can
there's
bring the
fun things.
Kool-Aid, whatever you
Yeah.
whatever you like to drink. I mean, there's so many different things that you can do together. I think we just have to reestablish some things that we enjoy.
Absolutely. And I mean, I look back now and I'm like, I love my kids are like, so you're going to Six Flags without us? I love me a good roller coaster. And I'll go with my girlfriends, and sometimes it's not about them, it's about me. Because when I
Yeah,
feel good about myself and I am a complete human, that has got breathing room and enjoying her life, I am so much better for everyone else around me. So we're all going to win.
absolutely. Okay, what about this? I'm jumping ship on you. So, cooking. You and I have both been cooking for quite a few years. Are you kind of at the point now, are you not wanting to cook as much as you did before? Because I feel like I'm winding down before I need to.
Oh yeah, if one person is gone from my house, I'm like, "Oh, I don't have to cook." And they're like, "What about the rest
Yeah,
of us?"
that's me. That I've noticed that because you hear of empty nesters who will say, "I've retired from the kitchen. I'm cooking very little." Well, I'm trying to retire too early, I've decided. So, are you still cooking Southern foods being in Arizona?
Oh yeah, that's not going to change. That's who I am. But the kids, it's sad because, you know, we'll go to Cracker Barrel sometimes because I need some fried something like fried okra
Yeah, fried
or,
okra.
turkey and dressing or something like that, or turnip greens. And they don't eat any of that anymore. So I feel like a little bit I failed them because they don't really eat grits either. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
What is the world coming to if your children do not eat grits, Stephanie? I'm so disappointed. I'm very disappointed.
I agree with you that now it's like, okay, well, we've got cheese sticks in you know, in the refrigerator. My husband's like, "Are you gonna go to the grocery store?" And it's like, why?
Don't we have a few chicken quesadillas from Trader Joe's left in the freezer?
Exactly. They've definitely learned to be more independent. They're just like, I'll cook twice a week. And I know that sounds crazy, but when they're doing cross country and they're hanging out with their friends, they're hardly ever home. And so when
Yeah.
they are, it's like Sunday. as a big meal, and somewhere on Wednesday we'll do a big meal. But other than that, it's just kind of like fend for yourself.
Oh, I love that. Maybe I need to adopt the fend for yourself.
Because, I've taught them
5
how
nights
to
a
do,
week.
they can do Caesar salads and they do fajitas and they can do all spaghetti. I mean, that sort of thing. And they're so random and like coming home late and all the things that it's hard to get everybody together. So sometimes I'll just make, as soon as they come home from school, I'll do like a 3 o'clock, like it's the big meal. And then if they want to snack later, they can. And I'll just
Yeah.
have grilled cheese sandwiches or spaghetti or something just kind of, you know,
Yeah.
ready.
Okay, going back, here's the squirrel. He just ran across the room. So going back to empty nesting, I saw an interview one day. I want to say it was on, maybe it was Kelly Ripa, but
Oh,
she
I
was
love
talking
her.
about, I love Kelly. And she was talking about maybe her husband said that when the kids left the nest, it was going to be naked all the time. Naked all the time.
Oh my
I just
goodness.
thought that was so funny.
I no way because I mean I don't even know when the pool guy comes. There's no like set date. And I tried something like that one time, and the neighbor walked in to be like, "Hey, Stephanie, your dog left her out in the front yard," and I've never run so fast in my life because I'd not locked the front door. So that is not going to be me. But we do have these aspirations. You're going to come home and it's like, woohoo, get the whipped cream out. Let's go. Get the Christmas
Our
lights,
children
honey.
don't see this. Get your good robe on. You got to get your good robe on. So funny. I wonder what they think. I've never asked my husband. I've never said, what do you hope for during our empty nest? When we become empty nesters, or what are your aspirations, or what do you want to do together? I mean, I've never asked him that. I need to do that. I think we've been so focused on what am I going to do?
Yeah, I guess we should ask them and see what they
I
have to
think
say, and
so.
maybe we'll have a whole conversation on that next week.
Yeah, I think so. I probably need to let him in on the plan. So far, all I have is pickleball. So I need to let him in on it. Does your husband ever say anything about empty nesting, what it'll be like, or what he looks forward to?
We really haven't talked about it that much, except we want to travel more, and we love to take trail rides and things like that because we live in the West, and so there's always discovery there of just one more cave or trail or canyon. So that's always exciting. We mostly on the weekends we just take off. And if there's not a
Hmm.
cross country meet or something like that, we just take off. And then the kids will just wake up and be like, "Hey, drive fun." And
Because
so
all they want to do is sleep on the weekends anyway. That's what I was
right.
trying to get our 13-year-old to plan a trip. And he said, I just want to stay home and watch basketball. And I said, don't you want to go and visit all these wonderful places? He goes, I'll do that when I'm older. Right now, I just want to
Yeah.
watch basketball. That's
Yeah,
they want to
their job is
relax.
to sleep and grow and,
Yeah.
rest from the week. And I get it. So it actually works out perfectly to go and really do all these fun things and then come back and then, have dinner or an after dinner walk or something. But, we're all in this place where we're kind of converging together in this new transition.
Yes, I think it's so exciting. So, where is the first place? And if you don't know, I want you to tell me next time because I'm going to ask my husband this when he gets home. Graduation, the last child graduates, he leaves, you drop him off at college or she, then what's the first place you're going to go?
We're moving to Italy. I've always told my kids that we're moving to Italy. I actually had one of the kids one night was crying. He was probably like 6. And I said, "Buddy, this is years ago. Why are you crying?" He said, "You're moving to Italy." And I was like, "Well, not yet." But
They
yeah.
know.
Yeah, and it's so important for the kids to see that mom and dad are dreaming, they have aspirations, and it's not all about us. I mean, that takes a load off them too to be like, mom and dad are flying and they're having a good time too.
Oh, I do not want my children to worry about me for 1 second, not
Right,
one
right.
second. We're going to have some fun.
We're totally gonna have fun. Well, I can't wait. Let's do it again
Me
next week.
either. Yes, yes. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right, until next week, here's to living your best life.
Absolutely.